Alright, hey there, this is the One Boom, and today we're going to be talking about movement in Black Ops 7, and how I feel like Treyarch is kind of scared of actually leaning fully in to the movement mechanics that they're advertising the game with. They made this mistake back in Black Ops 6, and it really never got fixed, and so I'm wondering if we're going to have the same thing happening in this year, which would of course be very sad, because I think Black Ops 6 really should have fixed this like during its beta, and it's still the same thing. So, when you speed up movement, like you add wall jumping, you have omni movement, crazy sliding, and the ability to sprint in every direction, you have a lot of inertia and instant momentum. Even these maps that are larger and have more room to breathe than Black Ops 6's maps, they still are traversed very quickly because of the movement mechanics present, and yet, certain things haven't been sped up to keep up with it, such as reloading, mantling, aiming down sight, sprint to fire, aim walking movement speed. A lot of things are not keeping up with the rest of the game. Why don't these get a boost to keep up with the faster game? Why is my reload time and everything just sort of the same as like Modern Warfare 2, which was a game that was considerably slower across the board? Some people say that it's tied to the engine. It's the stupid MW 2019 engine that keeps them from changing that, but I actually think it's worse than that. I don't think it's the engine keeps them from changing it. I think that they have to change things very meticulously because they have to have parity with Warzone. A player hopping into Warzone needs to have a similar experience to multiplayer and vice versa. And unfortunately, this hurts the game, and it's why this generation of COD, this 6-year chunk of COD, is like the Warzone era, because there's so much parity with Warzone, it kind of ends up hurting the multiplayer. The multiplayer can't be designed around itself, because it has to be something that you can jump between, like zombies, multiplayer, Warzone, campaign. It has to have all this parity and cross progression and stuff, and it just does end up hurting the game a lot. I do understand it though, I get it. I don't like it, I think it's bad, but I do at least have the ability to understand this decision, so I think there's an easy fix. Have multiplayer perks that aren't present in Warzone, or attachments that aren't present in Warzone or zombies or anything. That is just going to be zero parity. For instance, the dexterity perk needs to just be built into the game. It allows you to control your character so much better throughout doing movement mechanics like diving, sliding, wall bouncing, and that shouldn't be tied to a perk. The game should just feel coherent to control regardless. So what they should do is go ahead and build the current build of dexterity into the base game of Black Ops 7, and then dexterity could help us do stuff like mantle or swim faster and maintain the no fall damage perk. And then fast hands in multiplayer could be something that really helps you like cut your reload down by 50%, whereas in Warzone, if you get fast hands, it could be something that doesn't do that. If they want Warzone to be slower and clunkier because of the style of game it is, that's fine with me. That doesn't bother me at all. But for multiplayer, I feel like stuff like fast hands or aim walking movement stocks or aim down sight grips, they need to be exponential increases in how fast your handling goes up. The dexterity perk should allow you to mantle something damn near instantly, versus having to like grab a ledge with both your hands and pull yourself up slowly into gunfire. Currently in Black Ops 7, you can attach multiple things to a gun that help with aim walking movement speed, but it still doesn't feel as fast as like Stalker in the original Modern Warfare 3, which I get. You don't want people to be able to AD spam or strafe spam out of gunfights, I get that. With now how players play and the fact that there's crossplay, you do have to take certain things into consideration, because a keyboard and mouse player or a controller player with any given mechanic could take full advantage of something and ruin it for everyone else. I get that. That being said, the solution isn't to make the game as clunky as possible, and if I'm choosing attachments and perks to move quickly, I want to be able to move quickly. And more than just being faster, that's not what this is really about. This is about being cohesive and being a game with a series of mechanics that it doesn't seem to be afraid of having. Like, it needs to actually own the fact that it's a semi-movement shooter. With this much omni movement and wall jumping, you gotta speed up the rest of the game's mechanics to keep up with what you're adding to your own game, Treyarch. Like, if I want to throw a grenade faster, I have to have 3 green perks equipped to do that. Fast hands doesn't just do it for me. I honestly think stuff like fast hands should just be built into the game, dexterity built into the game, gung-ho, the ability to shoot while sprinting, just build it into the game. Your map design will allow people to play slower and to focus on positioning and engagement variety, and your mechanics should allow people to take full advantage of the movement and the ability to position themselves in the moment, the ability to be in the heat of a situation and not have a slow reload and a slow grenade throw and a slow mantle Like, there's a good balance here. Like, I genuinely feel like the best case for Call of Duty is larger, more complicated maps, but with much faster and more interesting movement mechanics and movement perks that allow you to do things at a much quicker pace. So you have a fast-paced player on a larger map that's better than a bunch of like slower, clunkier players on a tiny, uninteresting map. Obviously, I'm not saying one over the other, just if the needle has to point towards one side of the spectrum, I'd rather it point to the one where the maps are interesting and the player movement is fast and snappy versus the other way around. But that's all I have to say about this. Basically, you have movement mechanics that don't really seem to be designed in line with the rest of the game's philosophy, and it makes the game feel a little disjointed, a little incoherent, and I feel like you should full send the mechanics that you're adding to your game, Treyarch, instead of having them sort of play second fiddle in the background. You should bring all of your mechanics up to the pace that you're setting, so people don't constantly feel like they're having to fight the game's slower behaviors in order to have the faster gameplay that you're advertising they can have. Anywho, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below, and I will see you when I see you. Goodbye. And sorry if my enunciation is horrible this video, my nose is stuffed up, I'm recording this first thing in the morning, and yeah, sorry.